We are back here inside the CFE Arena. Let's check out the first half stats. And the one thing that really breaks out to me is that Gardner Webb, big reason why they're in the contest is they are plus 10 in the points in the paint.
Yeah, 18 points in the paint for Gardner Webb. Much of that was DJ Laster, who 80% of his points were in the paint area, whether that was tip-ins or follow-up dunks. He was the man in the first half. But if Gardner Webb's going to get back into this game, it has to be more than DJ Laster playing around the rim. They need some outside shots to fall.
Laster, double-double against Florida in the season opener. He's followed it up with 10 points and 5 rebounds. He's the leading scorer for Gardner Webb, and DeJesus trying to lead the Knights once again here with 8 points.
Yeah, the freshman point guard is really good. Yeah, and he's made a couple plays to where, yeah, I think if you're Coach Dawkins, those might be on the film session and say, hey, we probably don't need to force that. But he's made more than made up for it in the way he's pushed the ball in transition. He's been really the one guy to actually make plays in the half court late in the shot clock.
Gardner Webb looking for their first win of the year. Knights trying to go to 2-0. We'll have the second half when we come back to Orlando. Bernie Gunther, Mike O'Donnell, our entire ESPN crew bringing you back here to the CFE Arena as we get set to start the second half. UCF up by 3, 31-28. I think both these coaches would like to see their team shoot the basketball a whole lot better in the second half.
Well, Gardner Webb is doing a really good job of guarding the three-point line and forcing UCF into really tough shots. Again, that magic number is 70 for UCF. When they score 70 or more points, they won 16 games, or 16-0 when scoring 70-0.
Knights will have the basketball to start the second half. They tried to feed it to Brown, but in some congestion, another turnover to begin as Effiani working it down the lane. And there is Laster trying to clean it up. A.J. Davis moving it around. Knights with a chance to get their largest lead of this basketball game. Davis in the corner for 3. Brown comes up with a huge board and a second chance. A look at Griffin from NBA range downtown Orlando trying to get the three-point shot.
And he has the green light to shoot that. He is that capable outside shooting threat that's trying to fill the void from UCF losing Matt Williams to graduation and actually losing Matt Williams to the NBA, who's been picked up on a two-way contract by the Miami Heat.
Laster finding his groove in this one. He is the leading scorer on the floor with 12 now.
Yeah, how nice was that? That was a smooth interior post move.
This pesky running Bulldogs team staying right with the Knights. Contrary to what happened at Miami and then Gainesville against the Florida Gators, they're right in this one with 18 minutes to play.
I would almost venture to say that UCF looks a little tired, to whereas Gardner Webb has at that strong finish by Allen, where Gardner Webb seems to have a little bit more energy than the Knights do.
Well, let's revisit the X's and O's and keys in this game for you, Mike.
Well, we talked about patience for Gardner Webb. So far, pretty good job. You know, they just have missed shots, and it's really only been Laster. They've turned the ball over a little too much. You know, they currently have 8 turnovers, and UCF that's what they're trying to figure out, is you can't have one guy try to be B.J. Taylor. It has to be a collective unit to make up for that loss, but also you don't want to try and overexert yourself and do something that you're not accustomed to doing. Play your game. The offense and the flow of the game will take care of itself.
Allen at the free throw line. A miss there. This is what it's been. It's been no more than a 2-possession lead for either one of these basketball teams so far tonight. Roboteau. The Laster working on Davis, and Laster going right to the hoop. But that time Brown and UCF too strong.
It's really good D by Davis, but that was an isolation play specifically for Laster to go in a one-on-one setting.
And on the flip side, reverse by DeJesus. Can't get it to fall, and a foul's going to go on the floor.
You know, it's funny for Gardner Webb, if it's not Laster, you wonder where the offense is coming from. And if it's not for DeJesus or Brown trying to do something around the rim, there's really no other offensive production for UCF. So it's been Brown and DeJesus for the Knights and Laster for Gardner Webb.
UCF playing without B.J. Taylor and Taco Fall if you're just joining us. The Knights are hopeful that any day now Taco Fall will work his way back into the lineup, but it's going to take a lot longer for B.J. Taylor to be back on the floor here at the CFE Arena. So they're working through the first night without their senior or their junior leading guard, if you will, in B.J. Taylor, which is obviously a huge transition for them with all the minutes that Taylor's played over the years.
Taylor was 4th in the American last year in scoring. He was a second-team All-Conference this year, preseason first-team All-Conference.
Laster's got the moves down low, doesn't he?
He's good. He's got really good footwork, but he's strong, too, very physical.
Davis threw it out of play, trying to get it to Deion Griffin.
You feel a sense of uncertainty of who's going to be the guy to step up for UCF. And as good as DeJesus has been playing, I really feel the guy to initiate offense and make things happen needs to be A.J. Davis. He's the veteran leader of this team. He had a great performance against Mercer in that he had a double-double. He can score very well in the half court. He just has to look for his shot.
Cornwall with a nice pass among the bigs to try to create the opportunity. They're still looking for the shot with 7 to shoot. Laster likes the jumper, and he hits the J. Laster continues to lead Gardner Webb. He's got 14 now, and he's got Gardner Webb within 1.
How about the big fella doing everything? Caught it, little pump fake, dribble drive, 17-foot jumper. Man.
He's got a 7 for 12 night from the floor. Meanwhile, Brown kicks it out. And down the lane is Deion Griffin. You talked about Griffin at the onset. He had 6 free throws, 2 3-pointers, 16 points in the opener, but he's been quiet tonight so far.
Yeah, you know, honestly, he was quiet in the first half against the game versus Mercer, but his defensive effort and energy in the second half was through the roof and really ignited a huge run by the Knights early in the second half against Mercer.
Laster with a floater, rebounded by Chad Brown. UCF leading by 3, trying to get their largest lead of this basketball game.
Great ball movement.
DeJesus coming up short. Rebounded by Roboteau. Laster in the lane. He's got another.
He's a beast. He's an absolute beast. UCF has to find a way to get him away from the basket. If you're Gardner Webb, keep feeding the big fella.
He had 19 against the Gators. His career high is 20, and he's got 16. And we still have 15 and a half minutes to play, and Davis just walks in for the jam for the Knights.
Laster is exhausted, though. He basically just gave the Olay version of defense and let A.J. Davis have that dunk. Coach Kraft is going to have to either get him a sub or find a way to grab some timeouts.
Effiani draws the foul, sends us to our first timeout. Here in Orlando, it's the happiest place on earth, and UCF hopeful that it's going to be a happy Wednesday night. They're up by 3, 37-34 with 15 to play. It is a great night for basketball as we welcome you back to the CFE Arena in Orlando. Burning up there, Mike O'Donnell. Glad he decided to join us. Last has been really the lone scorer. He's 3 of 7 from the floor in the second half for Gardner Webb. The rest of the team 0 for 0. And for the UCF Knights, they got to figure out this transition with B.J. Taylor out till probably conference play begins. And this is what they miss. An athlete that averaged 17 points a game a year ago. That's 4th in the American.
What makes him so hard to guard, it's not that he's quick. He is quick. It's not that he has a good handle. He does have a good handle. It's that he is so physically strong. He's one of the strongest point guards in the country. And he'll take a bump and you go flying. Usually it's the other way around. The offensive player goes flying. But B.J. Taylor is strong, and he is one of the more aggressive and always looking to score around the rim.
Affiani hits the free throw to get the Bulldogs within 1. He's got 7 points in this basketball game.
That might be the next guy to step up for Gardner Webb. Affiani has that skill set to be a double-digit scorer.
Now they say Miles Douglas walked with it, a turnover for the Knights.
4, essentially, even though McSpadden's not completely new, he did redshirt last year due to medical reasons, but essentially 4 new players on the court for UCF.
Talked about David Affiani as you take a look at from the outside. He's been in this arena a number of times watching his brother play and finally getting a chance to really enjoy some things on the floor. I'm sure he got a chance to fire up some shots while his brother was here for the Knights.
Oh, you know he did. You know he came and played pickup with the team, and so he's very familiar with UCF.
And look at this, Gardner Webb back on top by 2. Affiani now with 11 points with a strong second half. It's the first 3-point basket made in the contest for Gardner Webb.
You got a double high screen for Gardner Webb, leaves the opposite wing wide open for a 3. A really nice set design play by Coach Kraft.
Brown is at the free throw line. He started 6 for 6 from the line after missing 2. Back on track. Take a look at, and you talk about all the things you could do in the game. We've seen Brown with the rebounds. You've seen Brown with the dunks. But here's a guy that's got 9 points in the contest, and 7 of the 9 have come at the line. That shows you can do a lot of work in practice that can really benefit your team.
I saw him actually a couple times over the summer around 7 o'clock in the morning in the practice gym working on his jump shot by himself. Just completely drenched in sweat on a Sunday morning at 7 a.m. He put a lot of time into his form shooting during the summer, and it's clearly showing here
it's
tonight.
paid off. He's in double figures, and of the 10 points that he scored, 8 of the 10 have come from the free throw line. Look down low, and Nyangane is going to go to the free throw line. Oshan, who started the first 2 games, he's 1 for 5 from the field. He's made 56 starts over the last 2 seasons, so he's really been an athlete that's been on the floor a lot. 33 block shots a year ago, but they'd like to get his offensive numbers up.
Over in France, the club team that he played with in high school, he was teammates of Clint Capella, who with the Houston Rockets, who is a very well-paid player for the Houston Rockets, and he's about to get even more well-paid. He'll be a free agent next year. One of the top free agents in the NBA in the 2018 season.
I'd always think about the European basketball players and how fundamentally solid they are in their game.
Yeah. Basketball in France is huge, absolutely huge. You feel like there's an NBA player every single year that comes out of France.
Laster back on the floor. The leading scorer for Gardner Webb leads the way with 16 points. Affiani right behind him at 11. Those 2 have led the way. Brown is the only player in double figures for the Knights. They're going to need some help as McSpadden's trying to join that crew as well.
It's a small lineup for UCF. So you take a look at the drive by McSpadden. He's a lefty. McSpadden was the first player at shoot-around this morning. He was there 30 minutes early, getting shots up, ready for this game. I always love seeing who the first player is to show up or shoot around and for the game.
And who's ready to go, right?
Exactly.
McSpadden as a freshman appeared in 30 games, made 7 starts, came back against Mercer after an injury that had him redshirt his sophomore season. Came out with 13 points against Mercer, and you're talking about maybe that's one of the reasons why he was the first one on the floor. You sit a season out, and he probably can't wait to get back to the action.
I was a big fan of his game when he was a freshman. He was forced to play point guard 2 years ago when they had a few injuries. It's not his natural position. He belongs on the wing, but a really, really good lefty guard.
Roboto with a smooth stroke on the outside, and the assist for O'Reilly, creating the opportunity. And tipped in on the other side by A.J. Davis, and not a good sign for UCF. Injured player down. Take a look at O'Reilly.
It's a really nice drive and kick. That's the second time that we've seen O'Reilly knocks down that deep three. He's got a nice looking jump shot. That ball screen on the right wing has been really effective for Gardner Webb. As we're taking a look at the Jesus, I believe it looks like they're working out the ankle. That's the last thing that this UCF Knights team needs.
Hey, UCF already with that B.J. Taylor, without Taco Fall tonight. It's a team we talked about with gigantic expectations after last year going 24-12, the most wins in program history since 2004, 2005. It was their most wins ever in the American Conference. 11-7 was their mark. Let's take a look at the injury for Cesar De Jesus a moment ago.
I actually think it's a cramp. Yep. See, he didn't even land on the leg that he's grabbing. He cramped up. When you're massaging the calf, that's a good sign. When you're massaging the calf, it usually means that it's Lily's going to pop up here in a second. It usually means it's a cramp, but the bad thing about the cramp is you can't do anything about it. You just got to give it time, but you'll get back into the game in a few minutes.
Knights facing off against Gardner Webb 5 days after they took on and won against Mercer at 88-79 win.
Well, you think it's a cramp, but if you have 2 people help you off the court, it might be something else. We'll see if we can get some more information for you guys, but I'm glad De Jesus is walking off. Never like seeing anybody injured, regardless who they play for.
He had 16 points in the season opener, 8 points tonight, 2 of 11 shooting. The majority of De Jesus' points tonight have come at the free throw line, where he's 4 of 5. And as a coach, you like for your team early on in the non-conference to face a little adversity, but this is not the type of adversity you want your team to face.
Well, you'd like to face controllable adversity. When you want to schedule teams that challenge you, you want to have practices that challenge you, but when you are physically unable to challenge, that's a problem. And that's you hate seeing that when the injury bug affects a team. It's an uncontrollable situation. So you can sit there as a coach and say, woe is me, what are we going to do? But a guy like Coach Dawkins says, you know what, it's next man up. You have to be ready to go, and that's why they're so deep this year, and they were able to press, and they were able to play fast and physicals because they currently have the depth to do so.
Gardner Webb leading 43-42, 13 minutes to play. Here's O'Reilly. Nice feed inside. Effiani with a finish.
How about Effiani, man? Preseason All Big South second team, and you just saw there an explosive athlete. Wow.
Look at this, Gardner Webb coming on the road trying to get their first win of the season, just their 4th win ever against a team from the American. They benefited obviously from a UCF Knight team without B.J. Taylor, without Taco Fall, and now you have Cesar De Jesus on the bench. And you take a look at a player like De Jesus, he's one of the guys you thought that maybe comes in and helps fill the role of B.J. Taylor while he's out with his injury.
Yeah, for the most part he was, but he'll be back in the game here in a second because they're massaging that calf, and he just got a little swig of electrolytes, and that is a clear sign of a cramp.
It's a good sign for the UCF Knights.
That is correct.
Laster down low, can't hit. Rebounded by Douglas. Griffin, he'd love to get going in the second half just like he did against Mercer. Gets his own miss. And he's going to see, and the third time is the charm. Griffin, a third chance point, and he's going to have a chance to get a three-point play and tie this thing up with 12 minutes to play.
It's a big bucket for Griffin because you really feel like he only needs one to kind of get going. But Gardner Webb is playing great. Check out this pass, and Effiani, the little fella, getting a little elevation.
So you think Chad Brown got a 50-inch vertical like that?
Welcome back to Orlando, where you're watching the American Conference on ESPN. And tonight, UCF, one of the teams in the American, poised to try to make it to the NCAA tournament, being challenged by Gardner Webb and the running Bulldogs, who lead by one. 12 minutes still to play here at the CFE Arena.
Bringing more energy. That's what it's all about for the Gardner Webb right now. It was really led by Laster in the first half. In the second half, it's been Effiani on both ends of the floor has ignited Gardner Webb here early in the second half.
Griffin at the free throw line. This is his first shot from the line tonight. He's got 6 points in this contest. And you think about the effort. We went to break, and the third time was the term. You talk about second chance points. Dayon Griffin really stuck with a miss. He got his miss twice, and finally the third time comes back. And it's a big chance for UCF to tie it up 45 all.
To counter that, though, Gardner Webb leads 24-18 in terms of points in the paint. That's just effort.
Griffin's got a board there. He's got 6 rebounds in the contest, but UCF not taking care of the basketball. They throw it out of play, a turnover. Gets it back to the Bulldogs.
12th turnover of the game for UCF. Coach Johnny Dawkins cannot be happy about that stat.
Talked about these two teams, former Atlantic Sun Conference foes. Their last meeting, 2005 Atlantic Sun Championship game. UCF, they won the title 63-54 in Nashville. It's been over a decade since the Knights and the Bulldogs have met. And it's a Gardner Webb team that's hungry to try to get their first win of the season.
It's not unfamiliar territory for Coach Kraft, though. He spent 3 seasons at East Carolina under Jeff Lebo.
Cornwall trying to do it all. Comes up, and he is blocked inside by A.J. Davis. And now Davis pushes it ahead to Allen. Knights trying to create a good look to recapture the lead. They feed it to Davis down low in congestion. And he draws the foul.
That was actually the best half-court possession of the game for the UCF Knights. There were 5 swing passes and a good hard cut down the middle of the lane by A.J. Davis. Was able to draw the foul.
Talked about A.J. Davis, who's approaching 200 career assists. He had a career-high 15 boards in the opener against Mercer. And there you see Dayon Griffin. Similar story to what happened on opening night against Mercer. He's getting going here in the second half.
He needs to step up. That has to be one of the guys that becomes that collective group to try and replace the scoring output and leadership of B.J. Taylor.
Griffin with 9 points, having a strong second half.
Sloppy pass.
After Griffin only 2 in the first half at UCF, takes it back the other way, and Allen converts.
UCF trying to turn up the pressure. Gardner Webb has to be careful because the Knights gets a good timeout by Coach Kraft, because the Knights can go on quick runs. They love to get out and run in the fast break. You take a look at Terrell Allen. He is a thief in the night for UCF. UCF up 49-45.
You know, Central Florida trying to be the sports capital of the Sunshine State. Things on the up and up for UCF. They got Johnny Dawkins here as the head coach of the UCF Knights on the basketball court, and just across the way at Spectrum Stadium. You think about the things that Scott Frost has done and given these UCF Knight faithful to cheer about. You know, you talk about the American, the Power Six, a team that poised to try to wreak some havoc late in the season. Right now they're undefeated on the gridiron.
Yeah, UCF football is the real deal. They are leading the country in points per game. They have one of the most efficient and effective quarterbacks in the country, and Mackenzie Milton. They are fast and they are fun to watch. This is, being ranked 15th in the college football playoff, that's nothing to sneeze about.
Meanwhile, on the basketball floor, some bright things upcoming for UCF. They are going to have a foul here. They have a chance to get the largest lead of the basketball team game. Believe it or not, neither team has led by more than 4 in this contest with 10 minutes to play. That's how tightly played this game between the Bulldogs and the Knights have been.
Gardner Webb has done a really nice job of trying to slow down the athletic speed of UCF, and they've been taking pretty good shots on the offensive end, and they haven't turned the ball over too much. Only 7 turnovers for the game for Gardner Webb.
Griffin with 2 points in the first half. He's got 9 points in the game. Take a look at the turnovers for Gardner Webb. They've taken a whole lot better care of the basketball in the second half, turning it over just 1 time. These two teams, that's what they like to see. You'll want to make sure that you hold it. As you see, the Knights are their largest lead of this contest, but Gardner Webb, they've made the adjustment. UCF would like to do a better job. They've turned the ball over still 5 times the second half after 7 times in the first half.
We talked patience for Gardner Webb in the breakdown of the X's and O's and the keys to the game. And really for them, it just comes down to making shots. And that's the way you do it right there. It was Robitou knocks down the 3. If they can get more of that, you don't have to rely on Laster, who looks like he is tired, and rightfully so, because he's put Gardner Webb on his back. But patience in the half court, making UCF guard for 30 seconds in the shot clock.
It was a big basket because it ended an 8-0 run by Roboto, but they go right back. They feed Douglas down low. Roboto started the first 2 games of the season. He was 1 of 11 from the field before he made that 3-point shot there. So they'd love to get him some more looks offensively. Big rebound down low, and the putback doesn't go by Niangane, the junior from France. And here is UCF trying to push the pace. A chance for their largest lead of the contest if they can hit a field goal. Griffin steps in, and he'll take the easy bucket, and he's in double figures now with the majority happening in the second half.
He does have a smooth game. He turned down a contested 3-point shot, little ball fake, catch and rip to the rim. Nice move.
Dayon Griffin, slow starts against Mercer, a slow start tonight against Gardner Webb, but he's got 10 in the second half. He's got 12 points tonight, and he's right on pace to match that 16 he had in the season opener.
He is a scorer. He's effective in the half court. Doesn't have blinding quickness, but he's fast enough and athletic enough to get by his defender if they close out too hard on him, which he will see a lot because of his ability to shoot the 3 ball.
Meanwhile, for Gardner Webb, this is kind of a gut check moment. There still is plenty of time, but they gave it right away. Stolen away by McSpadden. Another steal for UCF. They have been handsy tonight, deflecting tons of passes. That time they get a steal that turns into a foul drawn by A.J. Davis down low. 5 steals tonight in the contest for UCF.
More importantly, that's 8 team fouls for Gardner Webb. And if I'm A.J. Davis and UCF, I'm trying to attack the rim and get Laster into foul trouble. Continue to try and go at him to get him out of the game.
A.J. Davis, 11 points, 9 boards. He's a board away from a double-double tonight.
Would be back-to-back double-doubles if he gets that extra rebound.
Brandon Miller. Got some valuable minutes in the first half. Back on the floor for Gardner Webb.
If you're Gardner Webb, you should expect a press from UCF right now. They look to press after every single free throw.
Davis gets them both.
There's a little man-to-man pressure. I'd take your time. With 8 minutes left, there's a lot of time left in the game. If I'm Gardner Webb, I continue to run my offense. Try and find Roboto or Eftiani along the perimeter.
It's the largest lead of the basketball game for the Knights. Gardner Webb facing an 8-point deficit. And they go to the big man down low, and Brown comes up with a block.
That is his go-to move defensively. Chad Brown loves coming from the weak side to get those tip blocks.
5 blocks tonight for UCF in this basketball game, and now UCF has a chance for a double-digit plus lead there. Look from the outside for McSpadden, and the follow down low does not go for UCF as Brown tried to get the big finish. Gardner Webb just trying to break the momentum. Roboto as the UCF arena starting to find some life here. Eftiani.
10 seconds on the shot clock.
Jamison,
nice
strong move, cannot hit. McSpadden comes up with a board. He is fouled. He is going to go to the line as the UCF Knights, they are finding their groove here in the second half. Some strong finishes for the Knights. They got their largest lead of the contest, up by 8 with 7 minutes to play. Back here at the CFE Arena, the house that Mike O'Donnell built. We like to say that he helped open this thing up back in the day for the UCF Knights.
Oh, man, there's no way that can't be true. But my senior year was here in the new arena. You know, it's a funny story is, oh my gosh. I did not know you guys were going to grab this picture with the mop top. Man, I really needed a tan. Holy cow, man, that's ridiculous. I can't talk about myself as I'm too masochistic. It doesn't work.
Big
like
man
that.
on campus, 96 starts with NC State and UCF, and it has to be fun for you coming back and getting a chance to watch this program and to see how it's grown over these. Because you talked about you were here, obviously you're part of the game on the bench. You said it's a redshirt when they were in the Atlantic Sun, then obviously a big part of the Conference USA, and now it's a whole different level playing in the America, but it's a team that's really starting to build their program in a big-time basketball conference in the America.
Just as much as they are winning more, and you have an incredible coach in Johnny Dawkins, is the community has really embraced basketball, and it's something that we as alumni have tried to build over the course of time, and it comes with winning, and it comes that comes with tradition. But for UCF, this team is very special. You saw it last year when they beat Illinois in the NIT semifinals to go to the Final Four in New York. I have never seen the CFE Arena that loud and that packed in my playing career or even afterwards. It was an electric atmosphere.
Turner with a prayer with 4 to shoot, rebounded by A.J. Davis, pushing it the other way, and of course, as you see, Davis with a big finish. CFE Arena, it's been a big difference maker for the Knights. This is a beautiful athletes village that they have right here on campus. Some phenomenal sporting complexes that they built for the Knights.
Well, you have to kind of do that Field of Dreams model. You know, if you build it, they will come, and that's what they've tried to do. You try to build great facilities to bring in top recruits. To make sure people want to come to games, and really across the board, you could put UCF's facilities up with just about anywhere in the country when you're talking about Spectrum Stadium. You have the Nicholson Fieldhouse, the indoor football practice facility, the CFE Arena.
And the one thing I hear about is that next time you and I do a game in the not-so-distant future, you see a block inside by Brown, you'll be able to go to shoot around, and block-to-back blocks by Brown, who's big inside. Watch Brown block, you go to the Lazy River.
Yeah, that's right. They're creating something called the Recovery Cove, and I think O'Reilly's going to have to recover himself after that block by Chad Brown. But they want to build a lazy river, and they're calling it the Recovery Cove for student athletes to hop in there and I guess grab a floaty maybe, and maybe
we'll have
a little
to check it out. It'll have to be part of the shoot around.
SPF 40. Actually, that's where we should do the keys to the game.
That's true.
Yeah. Is in the lazy river. But guys like you and I, we might need to put on some serious suntan lotion before we hop into there.
It's an 8-point UCF lead. We saw Laster come up with a big play for Gardner Webb. Appiani trying to keep Gardner Webb in this game, but right now it's UCF really starting to build. A.J. Davis, a double-double performance tonight, leading the way, and here's Allen with 3 to shoot, stepping down the lane, and he gets the basket for the Knights, and they're back up double figures.
And he can do that. He's that type of point guard that can break down his defender off the dribble.
Allen's 1 away from getting to 10 points. He's got 9 points to go along with 4 boards. And the Knights spreading around the offense, including Davis with a double-double, 15 and 10 tonight.
Just like last week, though, in their win against Mercer, Chad Brown was a huge energy catalyst for the UCF defense. And you saw those 2 huge blocks. And what does that do to your team? What does that do to the crowd? It's amazing what effort does to ignite a run.
DeJesus, by the way, is back on the floor. That's a good sign for the UCF Knight fans. So it was, as you talked about, only cramps. Kick to the outside. Dayon Griffin for 3. Rebounded by O'Reilly.
Gardner Webb needs to get something around the rim.
O'Reilly had it stripped out of play. The last touch, though, by UCF.
Had Effiani wide open in the corner. He over-dribbled on that drive.
Expand back on the floor for the Knights. 4.5 to play. UCF with their largest lead of this basketball game into Effiani. Gets it back to O'Reilly. And the running Bulldogs need to race down and get a couple of baskets to work their way back in it. This will help if it can fall. Roboto in the corner, but rebounded by Brown, who has been a monster in the second half. Brown's got 10 points, 8 rebounds to go along with 4 blocks in this contest.
Chad Brown is that teammate that you love to play with. He's the most vocal leader on the team, whereas I think you see B.J. Taylor is the overall team leader, but Chad Brown is the emotional leader of this UCF team. He's always positive, loud, energetic. He's in the huddle, high-fiving.
It's been a big night for Brown, off a previous high in points, but he's got a new high in rebounds, free throw attempts, and free throws. And the Knights leading 62-52. Knights are 4 minutes away from going to 2-0 on the season, trying to build on a very successful first season in the Johnny Dawkins era. They went 24-12. Talked about the 11 wins in conference play, the most since joining the American, the 4th seed in the conference tournament. And of course, a lot of the Knight faithful feel that this is a team that's on the up and up.
Well, when you build off of the tremendous performance that they had last year, you can't do it alone. It takes a community of support, and it takes a team that needs to be deep. And this UCF team has the depth to make a run to the NCAA tournament and be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the American. There's enough individual talent to accomplish that. When you have Taco Fall back from his injury, B.J. Taylor back from his injury, this is a formidable opponent in the American Conference.
And you talked about if obviously they're not going to get Dawkins this season, but if you had Dawkins on the floor, how much better is this team?
It's a top 25 team. You know, I think Aubrey Dawkins is an NBA player, and you pair him with another NBA player in Taco Fall and B.J. Taylor, who a lot of feel could play his way into the next level. Those are 3 players that you could put up against a lot of teams from an individual talent standpoint, but it's unique too, because you don't necessarily, no team has a Taco Fall. And
right.
When you can complement that.
And where do you find a Taco Fall?
Exactly. You can complement that with great point guard play and great athleticism and a deep team. That's a recipe for an NCAA tournament bracket buster.
Well, he's talking about tallest human in the world. I mean, one of the 40 tallest, so you got to put him in that category. Wingspan 8 feet 4 inches, a shoe size of 22. You got to make sure that you got somebody that you can call up to get that shoe size. I would think it would be difficult when you were young, though, as a kid finding it. A little easier now for UCF to find that shoe size.
There's no question. You know, I spent some time and talked to them about that the process when he went in and declared for the NBA and what that was like and what he learned. And he really felt that he gained valuable information on what they wanted his role to be in the NBA. And he said it was less about scoring and more about me being a dominant rim protector. He's like, that can be my role. I can be that player in the NBA. And there's a lot of general managers who would like him, even more from an NBA standpoint, because that's a business, but they can market a player like that. He's great with fans. You know, he's very approachable. He's incredibly intelligent. He's got close to a 3.8 GPA.
Stolen away by Roboto, but he can't finish. A.J. Davis rejected down low.
He was actually 5th in the American Conference in blocks per game. A lot of people don't like to talk about that.
But they're without Taco Fall, and yet they have 7 blocks tonight. Fall's usually the one that's leading the block party for the UCF Knights.
A.J. Davis is that player who does it all. He can get you a bucket, a steal, he can lead a fast break, and then provide a big-time block on the other end.
With one to shoot at the buzzer, does not go for A.J. Davis. O'Reilly kicks it into the corner to Laster, and Laster, look at the big man with a little range from the outside. DJ Laster, he's got a career-high 21 points.
He has played great, but the unfortunate circumstance is that Laster has been really quiet these last 5 minutes. But take a look at the hustle of A.J. Davis. He was 4 players behind the ball. That's how you sprint, get to the rim, make a play. You might miss a lot of shots, Bernie, throughout the course of the game, and you may just not have a good flow offensively, but the one thing you can control is effort.
Right.
And that's the thing that A.J. Davis does well, and that's the thing that Chad Brown does well. And when you have those two players, when you're in a bit of a funk offensively and you can make up for it on the defensive end, that is invaluable intangibles to have on your team.
You know, you think about if you listen to all the players after the Mercer game, they're really certainly buying in to Johnny Dawkins and the system. They talked about how the defense wasn't there the first half. The effort wasn't there the first half against Mercer. They changed it around. That was a big reason why they went on a huge run in the second half. And today they went on a similar one at one point with 13 minutes to play. This was a 2-point game, and then UCF, they've gone on a 21-7 run from that point, and again, the defense really helping take over this game.
Started with Chad Brown. He had 2 big blocks in a row on the same possession, and it felt like that ignited this UCF team that was really kind of almost stagnant in the way that they were playing. It was in the Mercer game a few days ago, they had a tremendous amount of energy, and you felt like they kind of came out a little flat today, but made up for it, and Chad Brown was the guy to really get them going.
Gardner Webb out of timeouts. Effiani is going to be called for the foul.
This is also, too, this game is far from over. 2 minutes left in college basketball is an eternity if you play it right. And Gardner Webb needs to press, but they need to knock down a couple shots in a row. It can't be trade bucket for bucket.
Allen just 1 for 3 from the line. He's got 10 points, a perfect 4 of 4 effort from the field, but he continues to struggle. He's now 1 of 4 from the free throw line in this game. And this is what would help open the door for Gardner Webb. A couple of misses from the line. Allen missed them both. Laster gets the board, and Gardner Webb has the basketball with 2 minutes to play here inside the CFE Arena, and O'Reilly kicks it out into the corner. Thought about getting the easy bucket. They're looking for the 3 on the outside, and Effiani is there to convert. A huge basket, and Gardner Webb is within 5 now with some full court pressure.
That's what the three-point line does, a quick 2-possession game. I wouldn't foul here. That's a bad foul. I would not foul in that scenario.
It'll put McSpadden at the line.
You know, that drives you crazy as a coach. You had McSpadden in a trap, and there's no reason to reach. It's not a foul there. It's right there. There's no reason to reach and swipe, because whether you hit the player or not, what does the referee see?
Right.
Sees that hand go in a downward motion, and it's an automatic call, and you can't You can't put that in the hands of the referee because that's the call when he's supposed to make that call.
And Effiani is fouled out of the game with 18 points. And that's big because Effiani is one of the guys that could have got you back into this one down by 5 with a minute 40 to play.
Second most important player behind Laster.
Now here is McSpadden, 3 of 4 from the line. He misses the front end.
And Effiani's their best three-point shooter.
It's a 2-shot foul because Gardner Webb now with 10 fouls in the contest. UCF is in the double bonus, so McSpadden is going to get a chance for a second, but this would be a big help for Gardner Webb if UCF can miss another.
Why do basketball people, not just coaches, people in general, always say free throws win games? It's not just making one, it's what you can do to set your defense back up, to not allow. That's a nice play, little hammer play.
O'Reilly with a nice little roll down the lane.
Yeah, tough move. Still a 2-possession game.
And they're going to foul Allen.
I don't get it. I don't understand why you're fouling there with 1:22 left.
Johnny
I don't
Dawkins
think Coach Kraft is happy about that. I think that's a mistake.
You're down by 4. You can almost start to play it out at that point, right?
He's talking to Cornwell about it now. There's no reason to foul with one. I mean, if it's 40 seconds left, I understand that, but with 1:22, you don't need to foul.
Allen just 1 of 5 from the free throw line tonight. It's a big hit.
Even if he makes this, though, it's still a 2-possession game. A couple threes for Gardner Webb, and you're back into it, but you don't need to foul unnecessarily.
Allen gets them both. He's got 12 points. Gardner Webb down by 6, 1:20 to play here inside the CFE arena. Is Cornwell and company trying to come back. Laster from the outside, can't get it to go. And but Brown comes in, but he walked with it.
Yep. It was a good look by Laster. Pretty clean look, somewhat contested. But that's the kind of look you need to knock down. If you're UCF, I'm finding 2 guys on the court right now, O'Reilly and Laster, because those are the 2 players they're going to look for their shot. So I would shade to wherever they are. I'd face guard Laster. I just wouldn't let him get anything.
1:11 to play, 66-60. Johnny Dawkins Knights trying to get to 2-0 on the season. Roboto will send it into Jamison Jr. This is O'Reilly kicking it out. Cornwall. O'Reilly down the lane, and he draws the foul.
See, that was a really good defensive possession for UCF, but they bailed Gardner Webb out by fouling a shoot. O'Reilly had a fadeaway left-handed scoop shot, and there's no way. That's we call that a low percentage shot. Right. O'Reilly's not sitting in there shooting 100 fadeaway left-handed scoop shots in practice. I mean, he's trying to make something happen, and he made the right play. It's exactly what he needed to do. You stop the clock, get to the free throw line. But UCF, again, bailed out.
O'Reilly in double figures. He's got 10. And Gardner Webb down by 4. UCF back with the basketball. 1 minute to play here inside the CFE arena. Gardner Webb trying to get their first win of the season. UCF trying to go to 2-0 without the help of B.J. Taylor and Taco Fall. And look at this. Gardner Webb letting him play it out.
I think it's exactly right. Don't need to foul just yet. There you go. That's
why. And they get the steal, pushing it ahead, trying to get it to Cornwall. Kicks it out. O'Reilly for 3. Got it! Huge bucket for the Bulldogs.
How about the presence of mind of Cornwall to chase down the ball, not take a bad shot, and then find O'Reilly in the corner? What an unbelievable heady play by Cornwall. Wow. Off the steal, he got the steal as well. Sprint towards the ball. You see, a lot of guys would take a bad shot right there, but then he kicks it to O'Reilly, who's the next best three-point shooter on the team, knocks it down. What a big-time play by Cornwall.
It is a 1-point game after this huge shot from the outside by Liam O'Reilly, the senior from Austin, Texas.
See, now you're in a tough position, though. Okay, obvious statement of the year, right? 33 seconds left. Shot clock's only 30 seconds. So does Coach Kraft go for a quick foul here?
Right.
Seeing that UCF has not been a great free throw shooting team in the second half here. Or do you let the shot clock play out and see if you either get a steal or a rebound, UCF takes a bad shot, and then you push? So it'll be interesting to see if they foul right away or if they see if any time comes off the clock.
Gardner Webb on a 13-3 run after UCF led by as many as 11. They've gone without a field goal over 5 minutes. And a block down low, another turnover, and look at this. Gardner Webb's got it back. Down by one with 20 seconds to play.
Need to be patient, run your offense. For UCF, no bailout fouls. Here we go.
Bulldogs, O'Reilly for three. Does not go. Rebounded by McSpadden. And a foul, 10 seconds remaining. O'Reilly trying to come up with a game winner.
Pretty good look. You know what? I don't mind that shot as a shooter. O'Reilly just hit a huge three. And he had a nice little move, had about a 2-foot cushion. I would let that go too. These are huge free throws for McSpadden.
McSpadden 4 of 6 from the line. The Knights will call timeout. Gardner Webb there without any timeouts the final 10 seconds. And the good news for Gardner Webb, no matter what happens here, they're going to have a shot to at least tie it.
With plenty of time. Well, the first thing you have to do, Bernie, is because McSpadden is not a 90% free throw shooter, you have to box out, right? You can't let any offensive rebounds happen. You have to secure the rebound and then initiate your break. If you're UCF, you expect McSpadden to knock down these 2 free throws, and then you would probably want to hop in some kind of soft pressure. So Gardner Webb couldn't just grab it and sprint down the floor. Now, once Gardner Webb gets it with 9.9 seconds left, that's a lot of time. You can get it across half court. You've got time once you get it across for maybe one driving kick, and then you have to get a shot up.
Here we go. 2 big shots for Chance McSpadden. 10 seconds remaining. Knights up by 2 now, 67-65. Who you drawing up for Gardner Webb if he connects here?
O'Reilly or Laster. You really feel like it's going to be one of those 2 guys. They're going to have to push it. Cornwall is going to have to get it, push it in transition. If I'm O'Reilly, I'm sprinting to the corner. And if I'm Laster, I'm sprinting to the other corner. And I want a driving kick, maybe a little pitch handoff for one of those 2 guys.
Big shot here. Got them both. And now Gardner Webb can only tie it up. Here we go. Final 9 seconds. It is sent into Cornwall.
It's not a bad foul. Not a bad foul. That's only the 15th foul. You take time off the clock. You force Gardner Webb to set something else up.
Are you fouling again here?
You
let
can
him take off a 3-point shot?
You can. But you can't. If you're going to foul, it's got to be early. It's got to be early. It's got to be on the dribble. You can't put it in the referee's hands if it's close to a Gardner Webb player of trying to get a shot off. That is the last thing you want to do is foul a shooter in this scenario.
Gardner Webb without timeouts. Down by 3 with 7 seconds. They get it in to Cornwall, and Cornwall is fouled.
Yep, it's the right play. That's a smart play to make for Davis and Allen. Now, but you don't. Now you're done. No more fouls left because the next foul becomes 1-on-1 bonus for Gardner Webb.
Leon Gade back on the floor. Johnny Dawkins looking on as his Knights trying to go to 2-0 on the season.
Usually, Gardner Webb's side out of bounds, they will like to run a ball screen, a really quick ball screen for the point guard.
Here we go, final 4 seconds. Cornwall gets it into O'Reilly. O'Reilly for 3 to tie it offline, and the UCF Knights survive. They are 2-0 on the season after a 68-65 win over Gardner Webb.
Well, that is a gritty, gutsy win for UCF, and heartbreaking if you're Gardner Webb because you fought tooth and nail to stay in this game, and deservedly so, but just didn't have enough firepower as UCF, really led by Chad Brown, igniting this team in the second half with his defensive prowess to push the Knights into a win.
And they do it without B.J. Taylor. They do it without Taco Fall. Johnny Dawkins' second season in Orlando begins 2-0 after a 68-65 win. For Mike O'Donnell and our entire ESPN crew, Bernie Gunther saying good night from Orlando, where the Knights start off the new season a perfect 2-0 here at home.